Tech companies and their CEOs are our modern-day equivalent of oil barons or steel manufacturers from the Gilded Age, except now it's somehow even worse. We just have this group of Dr. Dooms running around with trillions of dollars pumping billions into AI technologies and their new evil layers, data centers. And the biggest and baddest of them all was just approved in Utah, funded by Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank guy, spanked Timothy Chalamet, and Marty Supreme, you know him. The county commissioners approved the 40,000-acre data center, even though the town had this bipartisan consensus that this shit was whack, with protests and people, picketing and trying to, have this not happen. But O'Leary even claimed that these protesters were actually paid agitators, which is just fucking crazy. But the town has used some pretty clever methods to delay or stall the development of this data center, and in some great news, the fall of AI data centers as a whole is kind of already beginning, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First, we have to talk about this hectic town hall where Utah residents made their opinions crystal clear to the county commissioners.
Thank you. Then why won't they let people talk? Why won't they let us ask questions? It's false. Yes. This is not real information. And we sit here like it's okay. It's a charade.
The people are pissed at these county commissioners because they're willfully ignoring the opinions of the people. They are there to represent these people, but they went along because they just want to get this dirty money from Trump's ball guzzler, Kevin O'Leary. And just listen to the guy talk about how, he understands the environment, and so he gets the environmental side of this data center, and foreshadowing here, he's lying through his fucking teeth.
We can also put a percentage of the power generation through solar, wind, and batteries because the battery technology is 10x more efficient than it was just 5 years ago. So that's very helpful because it makes the cost of energy lower.
Shout out the Twitter community notes, because right below his statement that he posted, there's this big old thing that says, actually, the Utah data center project is planned to be powered 100% by natural gas, not a blend including solar, wind, and batteries as stated. So yeah, womp womp, you lying fuck, it's just proven right there. And when he says that the energy costs would get lower, I don't know what kind of crack he's smoking, but data centers across the board have actually increased energy prices for everybody involved.
The average bill for an average customer used to be about $150 a month. The average bill now is $225.
A CBS News analysis found Georgia Power, the largest energy provider in the state, imposed 6 rate hikes in the last 3 years, during which time the Vogtle nuclear power plant came online and Georgia saw a boom in data centers. Data centers, Duran says, came to Georgia for discounted power.
So in the case here in Georgia, there was this nuclear power plant opening, which lowers the cost of energy because nuclear is by far, without a doubt, the most efficient form of energy. And also, side note, it is the cleanest and second safest, but I just will push nuclear. I love nuclear energy. I'm a proponent, if you couldn't tell. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. So this power plant opens, and then these fucking pricks say, hey, there's cheap power over here. Let's go build our data center, and then we can leech off all the power. It's great. We can leech off the electrical grid and get cheaper energy. And then boom, prices skyrocket because they're taking all of the energy, just fucking up everyone else's bag to, harvest data to train a AI language learning model to tell people to more efficiently kill themselves. Like, that is all that they're doing here. So all of that said, Kevin O'Leary is a lying snake about all of this, right? And in an even crazier move, he claimed that all of the people that were protesting this were actually paid shills.
We think over 90% of the protesters are actually not people that live in Utah or Box Elder County. They're being bussed in. And so people that live in Utah aren't stupid. They see this happening and they realize, why am I letting people from don't even live in my state make decisions for me?
Now that is a crock of shit. It is a classic Trumpism, right? Of anyone who disagrees with me or has the moral compass or actual feels the obligation to go out and take time out of their day to protest something that they see as an injustice in this world, they must be doing it for money. right? They must be. They must be because I wouldn't ever do it unless it was for money. It says so much about these capitalism cultists who are just so brain broken and obsessed with this idea of more. They can only project their own, decrepit, ancient, barbaric worldviews onto the world, right? It's total projection by these guys. And we all know that O'Leary is lying here about these protesters in the first place. The top comment on his post that he made, talking about all of this, says that actually, oh no, you don't get to play the whole bust-in bullshit here. I was at that meeting yesterday, I live here, and I'm sure as hell not paid. The normal people here, both liberals and conservatives, don't want that here. Spencer Cox doesn't speak for us, and neither do the 3 commissioners who were leading that meeting yesterday. This is our home you're talking about. It's not just some money-making project like it is to you. And that account, by the way, is a conservative, right? Not that it really matters all that much. This is a bipartisan issue, but that land is being grabbed up by a Canadian billionaire who just wants to turn around this natural environment, this community, to make a quick buck. Data centers ruin the landscape, right? Everywhere they go, they cause a fuck ton of noise pollution, as well as, general pollution. These billionaires do not give a fuck. And this one data center that we're talking about here would be the biggest one ever, spanning 40,000 acres. That is 2.5 times the size of Manhattan, or in other terms, 30,000 American football fields, 20,000 Titanics, or 370 Vatican cities. And it would use twice the amount of energy that the entire state of Utah uses total. And of course, Kevin O'Leary is not the only one pushing these energy vacuums, right? Psychopath Peter Thiel, AI android Mark Zuckerberg, and guy who likes to impersonate his mom on his own social media site, Elon Musk, have all funded data center projects across the world, harvesting people's data and online information to train their AI models to do whatever the fuck they want. And I don't know about you, but I do not want these fucking goobers in charge of trillions of dollars worth of data and gigabytes and terabytes and petabytes, whatever the byte storage is, of all of our information. It seems like a bad move. But there is a silver lining here. For one, AI data centers are on the decline, right? Nearly half of all proposed AI data center construction in the United States has either been delayed or outright canceled for the upcoming year, which is great news. Along with that, Bernie Sanders and AOC have been working on legislation to pass a moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers to try to slow the whole thing down, which would be a great way to, protect workers and environmental policy and everything that comes with building an AI data center. And in the case of the Utah data center, the town has actually used the mechanisms that they have in place, right, to stall the development of this data center for as long as they can, using the pre-existing structure to file thousands of complaints to the Utah Division of Water Rights, which is required to look at every single one of those to move the project forward, or they can just deny the data center's water usage change request, which would, be pretty bad news for Mr. Kevin O'Leary. And this is what I love about a community like this, right? There are this group of people, liberal and conservative alike, right, who understand that there are things more important in this world than money. Right. And some people just don't get that. Some people are so, brain broken. They're so unbelievably obsessed with this idea of more money, just this capitalism virus that's infected their brain. Right. But this community sees the value in their environment, in their neighbors, in their land, in their community. Right. The value of the community is more important than this fucking ugly ass big fucking data center with God knows what happening inside of it, right? I mean, and these protesters prove that, right? And their chant makes a lot of sense. People over profits. So best of luck to these Utah residents, and Kevin O'Leary, big one of these for you, all right, dude? But I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw in this video, be sure to leave a like down below, and don't forget to subscribe to US Democratic Socialists. It really helps us out a lot. And also, don't forget to comment down below if you have any thoughts about this or anything else. Be sure to do all that good stuff down below, and have a great day. I'm Iago Lashua. Goodbye.